And what happened from that moment on until the 3:25 mark of the third quarter? That's only about a quarter and a half of basketball. What happened over that stretch? Would you believe the Rockets won that stretch of the game 64-38? Think about that. Yeah. LeBron, unbelievable. AD, unbelievable. They got wiped off the court for a quarter and a half to the tune of 64-38. I want everybody out there to let that sink in. The Lakers gave up a 64-38 run to the little tiny Rockets. That's a bad sign. That was actually a moral victory for the underdog.
What do we know about the Houston Rockets, Skip? What do we know about the Rockets? What have you said about the Rockets? They're going to take, and if they shoot 35-40%, you in trouble. Before last night, teams that had made at least 22 threes in a playoff game were 18-2. So that's 90%. So you rarely lose. So they made all those threes.
How many did they make in the fourth quarter? That's all that matters.
That's my point. Skip.
All that
matters. Skip, let me ask you a question.
What happened?
You have to weather the storm, remember?
You got lucky. They cooled off. In fact, they went ice cold in the fourth quarter. They made 2 of 12 in the fourth quarter, and you got off the hook.
So, but you didn't say anything about when they made 9 in the third quarter. You didn't say they got hot. See, all you do is look at the negative. What about the positive that they did in the third quarter?
64-38. Okay, that's a bad sign, man. And good teams don't give up a 64-38 run to an underdog.
I know a team that played on Saturday night. What run did they give up?
They gave it up in the first quarter, and then what happened?
Hold on.
Here they came.
So is that a part of the game?
They stormed back.
No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is that a part of the game so they're not 4 quarters in the game?
This was in reverse. This is, we get the big lead, and we get blown off the floor.
Y'all did. Y'all got a big lead. Y'all lost.
That's the Lakers. So here's the point of what happened last night. My team, the Rockets, was stuck with Russell Westbrook, and your team, the Lakers, should be very thankful he was a Rocket last night. Russell grew up in Southern California, not too far from where we sit right now, a huge Lakers fan. And last night he played like he was a huge Lakers fan.
Stop.
It was eyesore shocking. I've never seen such a display of turnovers, out of control, nightmare turnovers, 7 turnovers. And you want to talk about Westbrook? Whew. Westbrook after Westbrook after Westbrook. He was the reason they lost. He was the biggest reason you won. He was your MVP last night.
Well, hello. Where did this come? I didn't see you tweet that on Friday night when he played well.
No, I tweeted and tweeted and tweeted. You should follow me. You should give me a follow today. Go back and look at my timeline. I dare anybody out there, go back and look at my timeline. I kept tweeting about Russell Westbrook is going to lose this game for the Rockets. They won the Friday night game 1 in spite of him and his turnovers and his out-of-control play.
And
even Russell, who's like as proud and arrogant as they come, he's a warrior, and even he admitted that right now, I'm just running around out there. I got to look at the film and try to figure out how to be efficient. He was nightmarish last night.
Right.
And you should have been applauding every dribble that he took.
Why?
Because he would just, when he did decide to drive it, he'd try to drive it between 3 Lakers and lose it.
Right.
If he did get in the lane successfully, he would wheel and throw it to nobody because he had no plan.
Right.
He's completely out of control. And if you look at what has happened to Russell Westbrook in the 5 playoff games he's played so far, just go back. Go back to the 25 games before the pandemic hit. He was rolling.
Right.
He's averaging, in those 25 games, he was 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Yeah.
Not exactly Oklahoma City triple-double for a whole year numbers, but still the 32 points and 8 and 7, shooting 52.7% from the field. That's extraordinary. That's championship basketball for the Rockets.
Right.
And all of a sudden, remember what happened? He tested positive.
Right.
He had COVID.
Yeah.
And then he hurt his quad. I don't know if it was just bruised or pulled or whatever it was, and he missed the first 4 playoff games against OKC. And then he came back, and guess what he's done since he came back? The guy who was averaging 32 for 25 games before the pandemic is now averaging 15.6 and a grand total of 4.4 assists through 5 playoff games. He is shooting 39% from the the field after 52.7 in those 25 games. He's now shooting for the playoffs 17% from three, and he's making a grand total of 47% of his free throws. These are numbers you cannot overcome. These are loser numbers. As hard as he plays, as much as he will rebound, and he did lead them in rebounds last night with 13, I will give him that. He has become an offensive liability. What were you able to do that you didn't do in game one last night? You doubled James. Why were you able to successfully do that? Because usually he just gives it up to Russ, and it's flying at the basket, and he's going to dunk it or get to the free throw line. Last night, I don't know what got into him. Russell Westbrook just stood still, caught the ball. They dared him, which they should. They should all five Lakers should just go sit underneath the basket when he's got the ball.
So in other words, they did to Russell what the Rockets had did to Rondo on Friday night. Dare him to shoot.
Well, that was his first game that he had played.
But Skip, you just mentioned the man had COVID. The man had a strained hamstring, a quad, and so he's trying to get back in shape, but you don't factor that in. So what the hell was Rondo? Rondo missed 6 months, remember?
I don't really care right now about Rondo because he helped you more than he hurt you.
But Skip, but see, that's the thing, though. You said, okay, Rondo helped us last night. What about Friday night? Russ helped them Friday night. Then all you do is harp on the net. Come on, get a guy credit.
Okay, I give him credit. Rondo played great last night.
Yes.
He was a big factor last night, and his on-ball defense of James bothered James because he stole it from him once and laid it up, picked his pocket. And James has a little bit of trouble with Rondo because he can't get his handle going as smoothly. But still, they doubled James much of the night. And James still had a very good game, right?
Yeah.
That'll work.
He's James Harden.
Yeah, I'll take that. And yet, once he doubled, Russ would just stand at the three-point line, and Russell attempted the most threes he's attempted since Christmas Day. Think about that. That is just wrong, wrong, wrong. And he obviously went 1 for 7 from three. In the fourth quarter, he had 3 wide-open threes. Just wide open. Just here, we dare you. Go ahead, Russ. Shoot it. He missed all 3 of them. That's a potential 9 points. What's the final score of this game?
So let me get this right, Skip. They make 22 of 53 threes. You want them to make 30.
Well, Markieff Morris made 4, so sometimes people have aberration nights.
Okay, what about P.J. Tucker? Remember the last game he played? He was 1 for 7. He might have been over from the three-point line. He drove the ball and put it in. Last night, he was 4 for 7. Are you factoring into that? All you do is factor in when guys of the Lakers play well. But you don't factor in when any of the other auxiliary guys play well for other teams. I don't
care about all those. I care about Russell Westbrook is the co-star of the Houston Rockets, and right now he is killing them. If you look at their starting lineup last night, if you look at the first 4 besides Russ, look at the numbers they put up. It goes 8 of 16, 7 of 10, 5 of 10, 6 of 12, and if we go to one bench player, 5 of 10. So that's the 5 best players on the Rockets last night, including Daniel House, go 31 of 58. That's over 50%. And my guy, Russ, he goes 4 of 15 and 1 for 7 from 3. It's a killer. It's suddenly become your Achilles heel is none other than Russell Westbrook.
Well, Skip, if you double a team's best player, you're going to leave someone open, and you're doing that for a reason. So hopefully we double off of him, and the guy's not making shots. So what, you want to send Russ to the bench?
No.